All right, everybody, welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. Today is the 18th of October, 2023. This is episode 466, the one where Adam and Chris just flex in the background. So we were joking around before we got going live. Bradley's taking care of the tech stuff. And if you're around every week, you know his internet is not super crazy fast right now. So we're going to give him a minute to take care of everything in the background. And first of all, I also wanted to say hello to Chris and Bradley. So Chris, how are things going with you?
Yeah, quite a roller coaster. I didn't hit the gym today. I don't know, like stacked with meetings, new projects and stuff. So like lots of work as usual. But at the same time, super exciting, like gotta finish the last quarter very strong. Some people are waiting till there's a new year and stuff. So like, I don't know, like I don't wait for that stuff. Time is now.
Nice. Yeah, got to get to it. It's crazy how fast this time goes, right? Once you get into October, it's just like, boom, it's next year. Cool. Let's see. I see Bradley flipping his screen around, which means he's probably got most of the tech stuff done. So Bradley, if you can hear us, how are things going on your end?
Yeah, I had to kill the video because as soon as I turned it on, I couldn't hear you talking anymore. Yeah. So I'm here. I think I got everything hooked up on the back end, so we should be good.
Perfect.
All right, stand by, guys. Give me a second.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. I was just checking to make sure it looks good on my end. Hey, everybody, just checking out the chat. So we got people hopping in. If you're there, say hello. Let us know how you're doing. We got a lot of questions today, so we're going to keep things pretty short and get into it. Let's see. I had a couple things today, man. I'm coming into this a little unprepared, so I apologize. Chris, was there anything we need to go through? I wanted to remind people about what's going on in the mastermind, of course, but was there anything else we need to cover?
Yeah, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's always important, so you stay updated to our updates, get notifications when we publish a new video and when we go live.
Definitely do that, especially if you're watching the replay. We appreciate it, obviously, but also it's helpful if you're going to come and ask questions, whether live or especially if you can't make it live, because you can always go to semanticmastery.com/HD questions and post your questions ahead of time. So we get it. Not everybody can be here at the same time every week. Maybe something comes up, but we then take the questions you asked, we answer them, of course, or point you in the right direction, and then get all the videos chopped up and put on the channel. So if you're subscribed to the channel and you get notifications, you'll get notified when those get posted throughout the following week. So
definitely.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, also I'm going to drop the link in there, but we got a ton of stuff going on in the mastermind. Bradley's been talking about the DHA program for a while. I'm not going to talk about that. Just, if you're ready to join the mastermind or you want to find out more about that, you want to take your local SEO business up to the next level and be around people who are doing the same, I highly suggest checking us out. And you can find out more at mastermind.semanticmastery.com.
Yeah, one more thing, if you're slow or something like that, to tend to procrastinate, don't even try to join the mastermind because it's not for you. So we only want to have people who are actually go-getters and stuff. So yeah, no slow people. Thanks.
Yeah. Also, got to clear up one comment. I did not go to my naked bush camp, but that would have been super weird. It's out in Utah, actually, doing some meeting up with a friend, my sister, and doing some hiking. I've never been to Zion National Park before, and got some time there on top of just some good time spent with family and friends. But I'll have to try the naked bush camp sometime.
Yeah, cool. last week when you weren't here, Chris made a joke about you running in the woods, and I think Cecilia posted, "Does this running in the woods involve nudity?"
Yeah, I guess it could. I don't know. There's some crazy people out there. So
well, it's quite normal in Croatia, so get used to it.
Oh man. Yeah, I did get some trail running in, but yeah, let's get back to SEO. And Bradley, you want to share the screen and go for it?
Yeah, I'm going to. And I've got some windows open. I was going to do this outside because it's really nice out, but it's too bright. And there's also, because it's nice out, there's ATVs and dirt bikes and stuff riding around. So you might hear that in background noise, but it is what it is. I can't control that. So anyway, I'm going to jump.
Sucks that your cam is not working. I would enjoy the view.
Yeah, I'd turn it on, but it would destroy the bandwidth.
All good.
All right, let me grab the screen and let's just jump into it. This is the last week. the last week of this, guys. Next week, I'm going back Sunday, and then I'll be back up there for a couple of weeks while I finish moving, and then I'm picking up the Starlink, so I'll have Starlink available when I come back, so I won't have any issues, etc. So Cecilia says guilty as charged. Sorry, Adam. That's funny. All right, guys, let me get this kind of rearranged. I'm on a laptop, so my desk or my screen is small, and I've got to rearrange stuff so I can access everything. Give me a second. I think that should do it. All right, so we're going to start a lot of questions today. Jesus. Wow, we went for weeks, like 3 weeks in a row with low questions, and then all of a sudden, boom, like everyone was saving up for today for some reason. All right, let's get into it, guys. I'm going to try to roll through these as quickly as possible. Danny says, hey, Bradley, what do you think is the best way to go about review acquisition for local? Is having one in place even necessary? Yes, it should be. That should be like one of the most primary functions of, SEO right now for local SEO is just getting reviews. So they're more effective in some circumstances than others. Like, for example, if it's an industry that doesn't or the competitors within a particular area for that industry are not getting a lot of reviews, then just getting a few reviews in a short period of time, known as review velocity, right, can significantly move the needle. And I've proven that multiple times in the last several months with tree service contractors. If it's in an industry where reviews are common and they come in fast and furious, then they don't have near as much of an effect. But that's an opportunity, Danny, because a lot of local business industries do not get a lot of reviews consistently. So that's an absolute benefit right now. Like, that's an advantage if you can take advantage of it or exploit that by just helping the client or your client set up a review, an easy way to solicit reviews from customers. And there's a couple of ways to do it, right? You can do a review solicitation campaign from an already existing customer list. That's a great way to do it because that's a great way to get a flood of new reviews in very quickly. And that can, again, light a local search grid report right up. Another thing that you can do is set up, a simple review collection system and, solicitation system that actually, when a job is marked complete or a sale is made or whatever the conversion goal is, that it, sends an automated review request via email and or SMS. And you can actually have a sequence of them. If you have, some sort of kind of a more advanced app that will look to check to see if a review's been posted. And if not, it'll send another request. High level can do this. I don't recommend review gating right now, which, there's a lot of apps and services that do that. But what we're doing is we're just sending review requests directly to the Google Business Profile Review widget or whatever, if you know what I mean, like the review URL that goes directly and to the Google SERP and opens up where the whoever clicked it can leave a review directly on Google Business Profile. That's what we're doing. We're not doing any kind of review gating, but we're doing everything with high level, and it's simple to do. Because whenever the client submits or closes, I work almost exclusively with contractors. Even most of my white label, or I guess I should not white label, but my mastermind members that are in the directory agency program in the beta group, most of them are working with contractors too. And so with the high level setup that we have, all you got to do is mark the job as complete. But again, it can be triggered off of a sale made or whatever. There's a number of things that can trigger that, but then it just puts them into a little sequence. It's 3 emails and an SMS that asks for the review. And I think it's a great way to, something that can be set up easily. It's easy to manage once it's set up. And you can do, a review solicitation campaign to an existing list. And that's a great way to kind of jumpstart everything. So I think it should be absolutely mandatory for all local businesses. It just amazes me how many local businesses still resist review campaigns. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Good question, though. Okay, moving on. Next one is Peter. Peter says, how can you effectively optimize for near me and voice search queries in local SEO? For voice search queries, I'm not 100% sure. I've not spent a lot of time optimizing for those, or researching that, I should say, and testing, because I don't use voice search myself very much, which is probably why I haven't spent a lot of time testing with that. I know that most of the kind of big data aggregators and the services such as Yext Power Listings and Uberall and things like that, Listerall, or there's, I don't know, there's several of them. I don't know all of them. I know there's several of them, but a lot of them have some sort of feature that optimizes for voice search. So, I just use Yext Power Listings for my local clients, and that, that suffices for what I need. Again, I've not done any testing with specifically optimizing for voice search. For near me, though, near me's changed considerably. We used to optimize for near me. Now you don't have to, because near me is really served up by where the searcher's browser is geolocated when they search. If Google understands it as a search with local intent, like if they explicitly search with the near me modifier, for example, or if then Google is going to serve them results that are relevant to them based on where their browser is geolocated and based upon the relevant businesses that are in close proximity to them. So Google will serve the appropriate pages now, whether you have near me on the page or not, if that makes sense. So look, I've been teaching about kind of optimizing for topics and categories for a year now in our mastermind, and I still all the time am auditing client or members websites that they send me for clients of theirs that they're having trouble with, and people just ignore what I've been teaching about how to optimize for topics and categories. That's fine. That ignore at your own peril, right? And that's fine. You want to continue optimizing for keywords, then you can rank for keywords, but you're limiting your ability to rank, and you also have to produce a lot more content, pages, etc. Why I bring that up is because I'm trying to explain here now that you don't even have to have near me on the page anymore. I'm still seeing a lot of SEO titles with near me stuffed into the SEO title, along with 3 versions of the same damn keyword. Like, I see that a lot in SEO audits that I do for clients, and it just amazes me. People, the search algorithm has evolved so much that you do not have to hammer it with keywords anymore, and yet a lot of SEOs still do that. So I bring that up because I still see near me in the SEO titles for a lot of that, alongside, like I said, keywords, and it's not necessary. However, if you're one of those SEOs, Peter, and I'm not saying you are, I'm just throwing this out there, because in our audience, there's a lot of them, I'm sure, SEOs that just cannot believe that a page can rank unless the keyword appears on the page. Fine, put near me in the page somewhere. What I typically do is we will, somewhere in the content, it will say something like, instead of just searching for, and then we put in quotes, tree service near me, or tree trimming company near me, or tree removal in my area, or some variant of that. We'll say, instead of just searching, and we'll put in quotes that exact phrase, contact us instead, or something like that. So it's a way to make it read naturally. But again, you don't even have to have that in the page anymore. But I know a lot of SEOs that just cannot wrap their head around a page ranking for a search query when the keyword doesn't appear on the page. So fine, squeeze it into the content body, but get it out of the SEO title. You don't need to do that anymore. So how do you effectively optimize for that? Well, if the Google business profile is optimized properly, and you have geo pages or whatever on the site that where you're sending the signal out that it is relevant to that area where somebody is when they go to search, if they append near me on their own, or some, again, if it's an explicit search, we're like, here, by the way, what's the difference between an explicit and an implied search? When it's an explicit intent, you're telling Google specifically, like, so if you're searching for tree service near me, that's explicit. If you're searching for an implied intent, would be something like, for example, tree removal service, right? Or something like that, which is a little bit more specific. The intent is implied that it's a local search query. You're looking for a tree removal service provider, right? Whereas just searching for tree removal, that could be an informational query. So Google might not be sure, are they just looking for information about, like, maybe tree removal techniques, or are they looking for a tree removal company? We don't know. So we're going to serve up results that are mixed, that satisfy both informational queries, local search queries, etc. Like, queries with transactional or commercial intent, etc. They can kind of blend the search results to show various results to satisfy different intents when the intent is not clearly or explicitly defined, if that makes sense. So what I'm talking about here is with near me, if you have pages that on the site, your optimization is proper, and you're sending the appropriate signals to Google that you serve, you sell products or services that would be relevant to that query in that specific area, then now you have the chance to rank that, for that page to be served up by Google for somebody searching in that area, if that makes sense, whether near me appears on the page or not. Okay, just to clarify that. But if you want to include near me just because you have to see it on the page in order for you to believe that it will rank for that, then fine, put it in the content body somewhere. Put it in an H2 header if you absolutely need to see it prominent on the page. But you don't have to have it at all. Okay. Hopefully that's clear. Moving on. Okay. Josh says, how do you do a thorough competitive analysis for local SEO and develop strategies based on the findings? Okay, Josh, we have an entire video on our YouTube channel that was part of a mastermind webinar that I extracted from the webinar and made public, along with the link workbook that the competitive link analysis workbook that I use for all of my clients and have been for a year and a half, almost 2 years now. So again, you can go to our YouTube channel and search competitive link analysis or competitive link analysis for local SEO or something like that. If somebody can grab the URL, Adam or Chris or somebody from our channel and post it in the chat, that way it'll be in the transcript. That would be helpful. But in that YouTube video, which again is like an hour long of me just going through exactly how we do competitive link analysis for all local search queries for every one of my clients, and those reports get regenerated every single month, full stop. So we, again, very, very thorough training. I go exactly how we do it, and I even provide the workbook template. Okay. So again, I'm not going to spend time teaching on that right now when that's a resource that's already available on our YouTube channel. So I'm not blowing you off, Josh. It's just there. Semantic Mastery. Thank you, Adam, or whoever posted that. The competitive link analysis video is now in chat. And if you click on that, you can open it up, and in the description, there's a link to take you over to download the competitive link intelligence or link analysis workbook template. And again, all of the training for exactly how to do it is there. Okay, moving on. Kate says, can you leverage local SEO for e-commerce businesses with no physical storefronts? That's a good question because I don't do e-com. So, I mean, I do local, but I don't do local for e-com, and that's kind of a unique situation that I have some ideas, but they would be 100% speculation and assumption. And I don't like to do that. So, I mean, if you can create a Google business profile and get it verified and set it as a service area business, then, I suppose you could have a Google map rank, and you could, rank for people that are searching for those product keywords in a local area. You can rank in maps for that. But again, a lot of the times e-commerce, I mean, I could be wrong, but e-commerce type of search queries aren't going to pop a local pack like a maps pack, and now maybe if somebody searches for a product plus the city name or product near me, as we just described in one of the earlier questions, then yeah, that could potentially that could pop a maps pack for sure. And maybe that's where you could utilize optimizing for product terms within a particular area. But I don't do e-com SEO, so I can't really, that's just kind of the idea that I would have. It seems pretty logical to me, but I don't do that, e-com work. So, and stink bugs are awful out. The sun came out after 4 days of rain, and now it's like a swarm of stink bugs around it. It's just nuts. It's crazy. They're awful this year. Anyway, moving on. Tut says, what are the most effective strategies for gaining high quality backlinks for my local business? Well, one of the best things that you can do, Tut, if you're a local business owner and you're looking for how to get don't worry about high quality backlinks. What I mean by that is, because that's subjective. Who determines what a high quality backlink is? What you should be considering is it relevant? Is it either topically relevant or geographically relevant? And if you're a local business owner looking to boost your maps ranking, then one of the best strategies that you can possibly do is get links from other local businesses in your same area or region, right? So if you have vendors that you do business with in the same area, doing link exchanges with them, where you link to their site and they link to your site. Those are great. People say, well, reciprocal links don't work. Okay. All right. Well, then don't do them. but I'm telling you, just try it and see what happens. Join a local lead share group. Do link exchanges with members of the local lead share group. Join your local chamber of commerce if you're not already a member, and make sure that you are in their business directory, because the local chamber of commerce business directory links are very, very good links for maps ranking. You can sponsor local charities, local churches, local, little league teams like Parks and Recs organization stuff and get links back from their sites, which are local organizations and associations, etc. Right? Churches, things like that. All those kind of things that you can do that you can get local links from. Those are absolutely, like, I'm speaking to you as a business owner, as an agency or a consultant. That's not really feasible. It's hard to scale that. So as an agency or a consultant, there's alternative methods that I would recommend. But as a local business owner, I would, reach out to your network in your local area and do link exchanges, because it will help all of you, especially if, now here's the thing, especially if it's a related or a tangent industry, right? So if they're vendors of yours, it's probably because you're buying products or services that support the products or services that you provide, right? So that means they're probably related in some way. So therefore, again, you can not only get geographic relevance from local link exchanges, but if you're doing link exchanges with vendors, kind of partner providers and things like that, now you're likely also getting topical relevance, which is going to help to influence organic ranking besides just map ranking, right? So again, you can get links that, here's an example. Here's a perfect example. Okay. Tree service contractors, the vast majority of them do not do landscaping work. And a lot of landscapers don't do tree removal work. A lot of landscapers will do tree trimming and tree pruning type of work, but not tree removal, stump grinding, and things like that. So a lot of the times tree service contractors will refer landscaping work to a local landscaper, and landscapers will refer tree removal work to local tree guys, right? So those are great links, because a link exchange between a tree service contractor and a landscaping contractor that are in the same city or area or region are going to have both topical relevance and geographic relevance, and therefore those are great links. So, again, without having to hire an agency, a link building agency, which you can certainly do, you can do a lot of this stuff on your own for no cost other than just, flapping your lips a little bit and asking, right? So that's a few good ways to get local links, or links that are relevant. High quality links mean they're relevant. Anybody else that wants to tell me high quality links based on useless metrics can go eat one. You know what I mean? And I mean that with all sincerity. My appointment setting company for semantic links just sent me an email from somebody that they were doing cold outreach to, that sent me this long laundry list of questions. Like one of them was, semantic. I looked at your link building domain, like for my agency for semantic links. It said your DR is low. How do you explain? Doesn't look very good for an agency. How do you explain that? Like, you completely missed the point. The title of my company's name is Semantic Links. That should clearly, connote the fact that I'm looking, it's about relevance. His whole point was your DR is low, your domain rating, your Ahrefs metric is low. So therefore, how are you an effective link builder if your DR is low? It just goes to show, like, that is absolute. Quality is not based on useless third-party metrics, right? It should be based on relevance, topic and or geographic relevance. Those other metrics become important after relevance has been determined. So anyway, I can tell that sales call got booked, but that's one that I'm not going to bend over backwards to try to close. It's going to be one that I'm going to answer as questions, and just like, I'm not going to turn the business away, but at the same time, I'm not going to bend over backwards to try to convince somebody that's stuck in believing that domain rating, an Ahrefs metric, is gospel. Because that is not the case. Okay, those metrics become important after relevance has been determined, but not a moment before. Moving on. Toby says, if numerous realtors have made YouTube videos of a certain neighborhood, would Google like it if I added all of the videos to my site under that neighborhood, and providing I don't have my own under that neighborhood, and providing I don't understand the second part of that. Maybe it was worded funny. I mean, Toby, you could do that, but why? Because now you're actually giving some exposure for some of your other realtors. Videos are so easy to make, Toby. There's so many AI video apps now, it's just ridiculous. I mean, all you got to do is, if you've got some photos of the neighborhood, you could even, like, don't tell anybody I said this, right? As I'm saying it on a public webinar, but you could take screenshots of neighborhood video images from those other videos, and then you understand, you set the video settings to the highest resolution. Sorry, I was looking for the word. I drew a blank. The highest resolution settings, and then you pause the video on an image that you think is interesting or looks good and take a screenshot of it. And now you just collect a sequence of those images, and then you add it to an AI video creation app along with a script, some audio, and whatever, some text overlay, and boom, it's got your entire video made completely from bits and pieces you borrowed from other people's videos, or from even images that you screenshotted from Google search for the neighborhood name. So now you're getting images that Google has already associated with the neighborhood, right? Through Google, if you do a search for the neighborhood name in Google, and then you go to the photos search, Google's going to show you photos and images that it has already associated with that neighborhood, right? So you can take screenshots, stuff like that, and work it into videos that then you now have your own videos instead of putting other competitors' videos on your website. Why would you want to give them exposure? That's just a question I'm asking, because again, I wouldn't want to do it. Can you get some optimization benefit from doing that? Probably, but again, you have to weigh the optimization benefit with what you're ultimately trying to do, and why would you want to expose or promote other brands on your own website? It's kind of my thought. Okay, there's so many apps out there. By the way, one of our master, you can find Fiverr gigs and things like that can do it for you too. But I mean, it's so easy to create videos now with these AI apps. It's silly not to do it, or hire a VA and have them do it, right? Just purchase the tool, the subscription for the tool, and then hire a VA and have them do it, and make that their sole purpose in life, is to make videos for you using an app. Okay, moving on. Tom says, hey guys, in the past, someone asked questions about link rentals. Would you be against doing that if it was for 12 months? So for example, a DR40 link with a payment every 6 to 12 months. Again, I don't, it's not that I'm against it. I just don't like link rentals. I never did. I hated paying for link rentals. So it's not a model that I'm going to endorse. I mean, to each their own. There are a lot of people out there that do link rentals, and that's a business model that works for them. I always hated it. I absolutely hated renting links. I thought it was dumb. So I just don't like that model. And again, Tom, I'm not picking on you, but you're talking about renting let me rephrase this. You're stating that you would be, so you're promoting your link based on a domain rating, an Ahref metric. Where is the relevance in that? Look, I understand that most people are still selling links that way, but you should, you're here at Hump Day Hangouts, you should know better. But of course, if you haven't tested, and if you don't understand, and the vast majority of the people in the industry are still selling links based on metrics, not relevance. And again, metrics should be a secondary metric after relevance has been determined. Full stop. And if you're selling links based on metrics, there are a lot of people that will buy them because that's what they think still matters. But in my opinion, if you know better, you shouldn't be doing that, because you're basically, stealing people's money, in my opinion. There's a lot of link sellers out there that are selling based on metrics that aren't providing relevance, and therefore they're literally taking money. And again, I don't know if it's because they don't know or they just don't care. A lot of people in the SEO industry just don't care. They're there to make a buck however they can make a buck. And I think there's probably a percentage of people that just don't know any better. So, but it's up to you. If you want to try to rent links out, yeah, that might be a better way to do it. I think that's a little bit more palatable to rent for 6 or 12 months at a time versus monthly. But I certainly wouldn't do it. I'm just going to go find my own link sources where I'm going to determine relevance first. If that makes sense. Okay. Anyway, I think, again, guys, I'm not, there's a million ways to skin a cat. So there's a million ways to sell links too. I just don't like that model, so I'm not going to endorse it. There are different ways that you could do it. 6 to 12 months seems better than me than monthly. Although again, I wouldn't be a customer of yours, Tom, just so you know. Not because there's anything wrong with what you're doing. I just don't rent links. And also, if I was going to be purchasing links from you, I'd want to first determine how relevant are they, and then those metrics would matter. But if I go to a link seller now and that's what they're leading with, I'm not even going to waste my time. Because that's not that shouldn't be the primary metric, in my opinion. Moving on. Percy says, hi, SM, if you were launching a topical link building service, how would you approach getting clients initially over something like Legiit or Vetted? Cold outreach. I'm telling you guys, until you have built a name, a brand where people come to you, do outreach, right? Do outreach. Do it yourself initially if you don't have the
capital to invest in hiring a company to do it. Do it yourself at first. I mean, there's so many ways to do that, but I teach the directory model, and I started to build, because of semantic links, I started to build a local SEO directory site that I was going to develop to do the exact same process that I've done for my tree service SEO agency, which is Tree Care HQ, right? So, and that directory site produces an inbound leads. I mean, just the other day, we were on the, I don't know if it was Monday when we did the beta group call. No, it wasn't Monday because my internet dropped out for 35 minutes. Must have been well, I don't know. Within the last week, there was one day where I got 5 inbound leads on my Tree Care HQ directory site. So why I bring that up is because I started to build SEO Agency HQ, which was a directory site for local SEO agencies. And I was going to use that for outreach for semantic links. But I ended up not proceed. I mean, I built the directory, but I didn't end up building the whole system, the prospecting system and everything else, because I found a company that I hired and has been doing it for me ever since. And I can refer them to you if you'd like, but they're fantastic. But the point that I'm trying to make is do cold outreach, right? You can scrape local SEO agencies from Google Maps, and then you just set up an email campaign and start emailing them. But you know, a cold email outreach is getting tougher, especially to agencies, because if you think about it, they're used to getting spammed all the time with solicitation offers by link builders. By the way, seriously, as a link builder myself, I get dozens and dozens of emails and LinkedIn messages and Facebook PMs that are unsolicited PMs for people trying to people in India and things like that, trying to sell me links and outreach services and such. So how do you separate yourself and kind of get above that, the noise? How do you do that? Well, one of the ways is, again, like creating like an SEO agency directory, right? Now you are just reaching out to the SEO agencies to clarify or, to confirm that the contact information that you have for their company is correct and accurate. And then once they reply back, boom, now you've got an open line of communication with somebody at that agency. And so then you can transition to like, hey, what are you guys doing for link building? Like, what do you do to produce results for you? Just start having conversations with agency owners, and you'll start to figure out ways to transition into pitching your services. Right? It's a fantastic model, guys. I can't stress enough how valuable it is to approach it from that angle as opposed to just straight up cold outreach. And also, by the way, get on those marketplaces. Like I'm only on one, which is vetted, because I have inbound leads coming in. Like I have a steady stream of inbound leads coming in because of my outreach company that I'm using. And also because I have a ton of content on Semantic Mastery's YouTube channel, which produces inbound leads for me. But you can, but getting on Legiit and vetted and things like that are also great ways to get started. How do you compete? You got to get started. You're never going to compete if you don't get started. So just put up a profile, make your offer, and then start trying to drive traffic to your offer. If you don't have your own kind of back end set up for managing payments and everything, then use your vetted or Legiit profile as your sales mechanism, right? Like as your checkout, your cart and all that, like your sales application or whatever you want to call it. You can start the directory, for example, and start cold outreach. And by the way, you don't have to do the directory. It just makes it a lot easier to initiate a conversation with your target prospects, which would be agency owners, right? But if you could just do straight up cold outreach and try to send people to your profile, that probably won't get a lot of results though. What would be better is if you started a conversation, and then throughout the conversation, you could direct people to your profile where you're selling links, if that makes sense. Anyway, I think it's a great model, guys. There's definitely a demand if you have an effective product. Because look, there's a lot of link sellers out there selling ineffective links, and they sell links, and they sell a lot of ineffective links, but they have short life cycles of customers. Like, in other words, their customers don't stay customers for long because they realize eventually that their links aren't working. So have an effective product, and that's how you keep your clients, and then your clients will start bringing more business to you because you have an effective product. I've got clients, I'm not kidding, white label link building clients that signed up with me in January of 2022 and are still paying subscribers today. We're talking, 19 months later? Seriously. I've got several clients that are still clients of mine that subscribed back in January of 2022. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because if you have a decent product and a decent service, decent support, all of that, you can retain, as opposed to have that high attrition or churn rate, which most SEO kind of white label providers have. Not all of them. Some of them are really, really good, but they're few and far between, right? A lot of them have a lot of churn because they don't produce good results, or they have shitty back ends, or terrible communication, or they're not transparent about what they're doing, etc. There's all of that. But anyway, I think it's a great model. It's been very good for me in my business. And I like it. So I just think there's certain ways that you can do it, but start with outreach. You got to start making a name for yourself somehow. So start with outreach. Leo says, howdy crew, with your link service, Bradley, do you only allow a certain number of outgoing links to each domain to prevent too many articles being used for links? If so, isn't this a waste for each site? No, what we do is we just we limit the amount of links per article. But no, we don't limit like the amount of outbound links from the domain, because I've never even, that doesn't even make any sense to me, Leo, and I'm not picking on you, but what I'm saying is, like, you know, does MSN or Newsweek or fucking, you know, do any of these major blogs out there or news sites to have a limit to how many outbound links they can have before their domains tank in Google? No. I mean, it's content. If you have, the more content you publish, the more links I guess you can post. So no, we don't have a certain number of outgoing links to each domain. Number of outgoing links to each domain. If you're talking about if we restrict the number of links from a referring domain to a target domain, yes, we absolutely do that. And that's a 1-to-1 ratio. At least we try our best. Occasionally something will slip through our tracking, and there might be a referring domain that might link to two assets within the same local entity or the same project. That can happen from time to time, but it's rare. It's few and far between. It's infrequent that happens, because we have a database where we track all of the assets that we're building links to for each project, so that we're not using any one source domain to link to any more than one asset for that project. So I'm not sure if I would like which way to answer your question. So I answered it both ways. Is there a certain number of links that we restrict on the outbound side? No, it's just we do it per post. Yes, but not per domain. We don't have a limit to the number of outbound links from the domain. But we do restrict, we try to do at our best, a 1-to-1 ratio, referring domain to target in any asset for the target project. Not just target. Here's the thing. We don't take one blog, so consider that the referring domain, and then link from that through, let's say, 5 different posts, and have one post link going to the money site, one post link going to the branded blogger, one post link going to the ID page, one post link going to the Press Advantage organization page. We don't do that, because that's one referring domain that is then linking to multiple brand or entity assets, or assets associated with the same entity. That's a footprint. So we don't do that. We limit it to one backlink per referring domain to any one target URL associated with the project. Again, I'm sure there are times where something slips through the cracks, but it's few and far between. So we go to great lengths to try to reduce footprints and eliminate them entirely where possible. Hopefully that's clear. Okay, moving on. Paul says, hey guys, I have a client I'm helping with local SEO for the GMB. On their brand search, the map pack references another business that is a competitor, but virtually the same address, and it's only walking distance away, I guess. How can we overcome this to influence the map pack to show my client instead? I have a client I'm helping. Let's see. On the brand search, the map pack references another business that is a competitor, but virtually the same address. So you're saying that when you do a brand search, instead of it popping a knowledge panel, it pops a 3-pack. Or a maps pack. It might not be a 3-pack. It might be a 2-pack. It might be a 5-pack. I've seen that. And I don't mean like Tupac Shakur. But I mean like I've seen that and where I'm at currently, like seriously, like physically located in Grundy, Virginia. It's a very, very, very small town. And I've done multiple searches lately to try to find stores and things like that, of things that I needed, and found like 2 maps listings, and that's it. And then I click into maps expecting it to expand and show more, and it says there's 2 listings, and it says you have reached the end of the list. And I always giggle because it's like you have reached the end of the internet, right? So this is the first time I've ever done local searches that like show 2 results and that's it. It like there's nothing else there. It's crazy. But anyway, why I bring that up is because you know, if you're doing a brand search and it does not pop a knowledge panel, but it pops a maps pack, whether it's 2, 3, 5, whatever it may be, and you're saying that your brand, your client's brand is at the top, but then the competing brand is just below it, then that's, you know, that just means there's some entity or brand ambiguation that can be resolved. Many of the ways that can be resolved is just by reinforcing the brand, right? Validating or corroborating the brand, the local entity. And the way one of the ways that you can do this, I talk about it all the time, is to make sure that you are assisting with discoverability. You are helping Google to understand that the brand has a profile, a presence on all these different platforms on the web. How do you do that? Well, number one is publish the Google business website, Paul. If you don't already have it published, I get dozens of link building clients that come in that submit their clients' locations with no Google business websites. Why? Why are you guys not using them? Well, because I have a hard time creating it right now. Okay, but there's tutorials. There are ways to get the Google business profile website to appear so that you can publish it and utilize it. So do it, right? Then link out with contextual links to branded assets, supporting assets that support and corroborate the brand, the entity, right? So linking out with contextual links from within the content body of the Google business website. Why? Because it's a Google property. Google's going to crawl it. Google's going to crawl those links and it's going to say, oh, okay, that's this brand over here and here and here. And as you corroborate that entity information, you are building authority. You're informing the knowledge graph. That is a term that I borrowed from Jason Bernard at CaliQ Pro, and I love that term, informing the knowledge graph, because you are helping to Google create a clearer or sharper image of that local entity, right? By assisting with discoverability. So Google business website, it's a great way to start. Google business posts using the CTA button, learn more, or book, but I always use the learn more button to link out to branded and supporting asset citations, product and service pages on the money site, etc. Right? So again, you are using Google properties to force a link from Google properties to these other assets, which helps to reinforce, corroborate entity information. Another one, your ID page. Do you have a dedicated ID page? If you do not, create one or buy one. I just did training again on a Hump Day Hangouts a couple of weeks ago. If you go to our YouTube channel and just go to our channel, Semantic Mastery, and use the search channel function and search for ID pages, you'll see. It's a recent video that we just chopped out of the Hump Day Hangout, where I go into detail about an ID page, how they're effective and why they're effective. So have an ID page. Designate the ID page in your local business schema, your structured data. There's an add ID field in local business structured data. And I see a lot of the times that people reference the homepage or whatever the location landing page URL is there. Why? Why not give it a specific URI that then the Google bot crawls and then it verifies and validates entity information? You're corroborating. So have a designated ID page and then make sure that you are referencing that ID URI, unique resource identifier, in your local business schema so that you know the Google bot's going to crawl it and go read that information. Your structured data, your local business schema that we were just talking about, have your same as attributes in there where you're referencing branded assets, citations, social media profiles, etc. What are you doing? You're informing the knowledge graph, assisting with discoverability. These are all things that can help. Having a Google stack, a Drive stack, again, Google property, reinforcing brand information, corroboration, right? All of those things matter. So hopefully that's helpful. Then you can also do some CTR stuff that can help to eliminate or fix brand ambiguation. Okay, there's some other stuff you can do. And by the way, you can do that with Google Ads. You can use Google Display Ads very inexpensively to assist with disambiguating a brand. That's for another time, though. Moving on. I'm going to move on to Zara's question. Hopefully that was helpful, Paul. If you need more assistance with that, man, come join the mastermind. I teach all those kind of strategies in the mastermind, including Google Ads, all that. I mean, all that's available in our mastermind currently. I mean, you can join and get all that information immediately. Zara says, if you just signed up a new client and you know the retention is 3 months only and you won't have access to their website or GMB, how would you rank them? And you know that retention is 3 months only and you won't have access to their website or their Google business profile, how would you rank them? I don't know. That's a hypothetical question that I wouldn't put myself in that position, Zara. I really wouldn't. I'm sorry. I wouldn't put myself in that position. I mean, why would you take somebody's money and promise them that, and I'm not picking on you, Zara, just understand that. What I'm saying is, why would you take somebody's money and promise them that you could provide them SEO results if they can't give you access to their Google business profile or their website? That seems like that should be a prerequisite. Like, I'm not going to accept your money until I can confirm that I'm going to have access to your website or your Google business profile or both. Right? That would be my response. Which is, again, like, if I don't have access to your website or your Google business profile, there's likely not much I can do for you. I'm sorry. Or unless now hold on a minute. Let me back up. There are cases where that can be done. If they just won't give you access, for maybe it's a franchise and there's regulations against that or whatever. I don't know. Just throwing this out there. If they have a webmaster that you can provide instructions to for how to execute optimization changes on the website, then yeah, you can still do it, but you have to provide them the guidance, the consultation, the instruction that needs to be, on how to optimize the site and the Google business profile. If that's the case, if you just aren't going to have access and they're not going to make the changes that you suggest, then I would walk away from that. I would refund their money if you've already taken their money and say, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work out. Like, you're asking me to fight with my arms tied behind my back. So I wouldn't do it. But if you have access, if they have the ability to optimize or make edits to the website and the Google business profile, but for whatever reason, they just cannot give you access, then fine. Provide them with a screencast video and instructions on what to do, and then send that to them. And then it becomes their responsibility. However, keep this in mind. When you put, and I got this kind of hairy, Gilliam, I say Gilliam, and then he's going to be mad that I said that. Harry Gilliam, he's a partner of mine now at Tree Care HQ, and he brought this. He had a statement that the way that he worded it, I'm going to butcher it, by the way, but the way that he worded it was spot on, and that is, when you put the success of your product or service, even in part, in the hands of your client, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, it's still going to be your fault that they didn't get the result. Do you understand? They're still going to blame you. Even if they didn't do their end of the deal, they're going to say that you have a substandard service or product or whatever that does not work. It's going to be your fault that they didn't get the result that you promised, even though they didn't do what they agreed to do when you sold them, right? When you closed them. Just understand that, right? It's the same thing with in coaching. It's the same thing with white label services, everything else, right? I can coach people all day long on how to optimize and get better results. If they don't do it, then they're going to come back and say 3 months down the road, because they didn't do what they learned, they didn't implement what they learned, they're going to come back and say, oh, semantic mastery stuff doesn't work. Oh yeah, did you do what what you learned how to do? A lot of the times, no. They just, they consume some information, thought that just because they can consume some information that they're going to magically become better SEOs, even though they don't implement anything that they learn. And then 3 months later, when they don't have any different results than they did 3 months earlier, it's of course the coach's problem. It's the coach's fault. You know what I mean? And I'm just saying that from experience. It's the same thing with, part of the reason I bring this up, Zara, is because one of the things that Brand Builder, which is it's a service that we're leading with our agency work now, because it's a one-off service and it can produce significant results within 30 days. We can even provide a money-back guarantee. But part of that original kind of Brand Builder service offering, one of the deliverables was a database or list reactivation campaign. But that in part has to requires it, the way that we had it set up through High Level was it would require the client, the customer who purchased it, to engage with the High Level app in order to manage the database reactivation campaign. And Harry brought it to my attention. He was like, we can accomplish everything in all of the promises that we make in the Brand Builder service that's what our leading offer is, without the database reactivation. And here's why we should remove that. Because if we promise, because part of the headline for that Brand Builder product or offer was that this is just part of the headline. It would said, and generate enough business within the first 30 days to more than pay for our service, for the cost of the service, or we'll refund your money. And why we could make that bold statement, that promise in the headline in our offer, was because with the database reactivation campaign in the tree service industry, because I've done it dozens of times, all a tree service contractor has to do is generate one tree removal lead, close one job for tree removal from the database reactivation campaign, and it more than pays for the service. And so I could say with absolute certainty that as long as they had a customer list with, at least 50 valid customers, that we're going to be able to generate enough new business from the database reactivation campaign to more than pay for the cost of the brand builder service. However, that requires the way that we have it set up is that the client or the customer has to then log into their sub account in high level that we create for them, and then manage the leads that come in from the database reactivation campaigns. They have to learn to use the app. And that right there is a stopping point, because there's going to be a number, and I know from Tree Guys, because I've got a number of Tree Guys that I forced to subscribe to the app $100 a month because it's a lead management app, and they flat out just don't use it. And so that's the thing. If the database reactivation campaign is dependent upon the client, the customer using the app, and they don't use it, then who's responsible for the campaign not producing what you promised? It's really the client that's responsible, but who are they going to blame? They're going to blame you, the agency who sold them the service, right? But Mr. Customer, Mr. Client, Ms. Client, whatever, you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You were supposed to use the app. Well, again, they're going to blame you. So why I bring all that up is because I would say if you don't have access to their product or their assets that you're supposed to be optimizing, then either walk away or make sure that it's clear and confirm this ahead of time that they have some way of making the recommended changes. Because otherwise you will be blamed for them not getting the results. Full stop. It happens every time. All right. Moving on. Marco says, let's say you are building a rank and rent site in Little Rock, Arkansas, which is a small 200K population city. First, you would First, you would optimize the homepage for the main topic or service or entity. I would optimize the homepage if that was the location landing page for the primary Google business categories, what I would do, and include all other services on the homepage in order to rank for them too. Correct? No, incorrect. Not at all. It really depends on the service or the business type, because how many Google business categories are assigned or relevant to them. Look, guys, I've been doing a lot of testing with this, but I optimize Google business categories or topics, depending on if it is a page directly associated with the Google business profile or not. If there are multiple Google business categories, and I recommend having a separate page on the site for each Google business category, and then optimizing for the category, not keywords. Okay. So anyway, you can have in the navigation menu, links to the other pages and stuff from that homepage, of course. And you can have a mention on the homepage too, but it's not about trying to rank the homepage for all of those keywords, in my opinion. Right? You should have a dedicated page for each Google business category. And then each page that is, optimized for each Google business category, that page can then rank for all of the keywords, products, and services associated with that category, even if that keyword doesn't appear on the page. I know a lot of people don't believe me, but it can, because Google understands the products and services, the search queries that are related to their own Google business categories. So you can rank when you optimize for the category, not keywords. You can optimize that you can rank that page for search queries, even when that query, that search phrase or that phrase, that keyword does not appear on the page, because Google understands that it is a related query to that category. So optimize for categories and or topics. I'm not going to go any deeper to it than that. But anyway, to get back to the question. This way you would rank for I would have separate pages for each Google business category, and then I would also optimize location pages, and I would cross-link using internal links between the service pages or category page, top-level Google business category pages, and then the location pages. So you're creating associations between the services and the locations. It's a much more efficient way to build a site. It requires a lot less content. It's more efficient. It reduces crawl budget or crawl resistance. That's a term I borrowed from Cecilia. reducing crawl resistance. That's important. So anyway, again, a lot of this stuff is taught in the mastermind. I would encourage you to join, Marco. But moving on. Next, since Little Rock is a small city, would it make sense to build individual service plus location pages based on neighborhoods in Little Rock? Yes, but there's a specific way to do that to where you're not creating bloat on the site. I just did an audit last week for a mastermind member and also a link building client that is in the storage business. So I used this as an example before, and I'm not picking on him. I actually had a consultation call with him either this morning or yesterday morning. And so again, I'm not picking on him, but he's in the storage business, in the self-storage business, and there was just so much bloat on his site. It's just unbelievable. And it's because of trying to optimize for keyword plus location for every variant of the keyword plus location. And that's unnecessary, guys. Optimize for the Google business category or the top level topic term. And that's it. You can rank that one page for every search query associated with the category or topic, full stop, even if it doesn't appear on the page. People don't believe me. I get it. Then keep optimizing for keywords and see what happens. It just causes problems now, in my opinion. Moving on. There are land flipping questions, Cecilia. I see your comments. I don't know that I'm going to get to them or have time for them. I probably won't today. So by the way, Marco, just because I'm running out of time, I only got a couple minutes left. I teach a very specific strategy for how to build a site structure, local site structure. There's multiple configurations, and it's almost, you're only limited by your imagination as to how you configure it. So I provided multiple examples of different scenarios on how I would build a site based upon what I'm describing to you now, which is creating topic or service pages, or excuse me, product or service pages, which are what I call topical silos, and then having location silos, and then you cross-link between them. That's how you create the association. So therefore, you're going to rank the local pages. You're not trying to rank the service pages. The service pages are just there to create the associations with the location pages. Right. And so you optimize for the top level Google business category or topic term for the location pages. So whatever the topic or category is, plus the location name, that becomes the location page that then references the products or services through internal links and linking to the product or service pages. That way you do not need to duplicate keyword plus location. If you've got 5 services, you don't need to have 5 pages where it's keyword 1 plus location, keyword 2 plus location. You just need one location page. And then your 5 service pages, and you reference the service pages from within the location page. That makes sense. And that way, now you've got one location page and you got your 5 service pages, instead of having 5 service pages and then also 5 location plus service pages, if that's clear. So again, I would encourage you to join the mastermind so you can see like different examples of what I'm talking about, whether it's a single location business, a multi-location business, is it a storefront business, is it a service area business? And you see how to properly build a site now, in my opinion, a much more efficient way to do it. Moving on. One says, imported from Google Business Profile to Bing Places. How long does it take you to see the Bing profile in Bing Maps? I don't know. It's been a minute. It's been a while since I've logged into the Bing dashboard. It's been probably 2 years, no kidding. So I don't know. But I use Yext Power Listings, and it's the one that actually creates the Bing listings now for all my clients. So and that's usually done within about a week, maybe 10 days tops, somewhere around there. So I'm not sure how long it takes when you do an import. I'm sorry, I can't answer that. Toby says, who sells quality USA YouTube likes? I don't know, but Toby, because if you're trying to rank the YouTube video, it's more about watch time than anything else. That's the biggest signal in YouTube, is watch time. It's not likes. It's really not. I mean, likes is an engagement signal, but if you're buying spam likes, and so again, a lot of those likes aren't going to be effective, because unless somebody's actually watching the video and then liking it, just like a quick view of the video and liking it and then jumping off the video, that's not a quality signal. Like the algorithm knows to ignore that. Seriously, it's mostly about watch time. And then those other, if watch time is present, then those other engagement signals become much more effective. Is that clear? So I don't recommend just buying YouTube likes. That's silly. Seriously, Tom, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying that's not a good use of your money. Instead, you could probably, there are some CTR apps that do video views that will also do likes and things like that, where the primary function is view time first. And then it also sends other engagement signals, but the view time is there to make those engagement signals, be given credit, right? Because again, engagement signals with no view time, guys, are basically ignored. Think about that. It's an easy way for the algorithm to determine if somebody's trying to spoof or spam the algorithm, right? Manipulate the algorithm. If they're just getting engagement signals without watch time, then that's a clear signal that somebody's trying to manipulate the system. So it's very easy for the algorithm to just ignore that. Think about it, right? So watch time is the most important thing. And then those other signals become important. So you should focus on that, Toby. And there are services out there like CTR apps and stuff that can do video stuff that can also send engagement signals, etc. Viper tools, Michael Bowes tools, Kraken and things like that. I know that he's been one that has done a lot of YouTube stuff. So you might want to look into Michael Bowes tools. Viper tools or Kraken is one of them, and see if that works. I'm not doing a lot of YouTube stuff like that. I do mostly YouTube ads. So, all right, 2 more, guys. It's 5:01. Let me just wrap up these 2. I'm not going to get to comments at all, guys. I'm sorry. Actually, these are the land flipping questions. Fuck, I don't have time for this because these are going to be involved. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to highlight these yellow so that I can pull it. Roy, I apologize. You're going to have to wait till next week, man. We're out of time, and I had to answer SEO questions first. But I will start with your questions next week, Roy. So tune in on October 25th for episode 467, and I will answer your questions first. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're done. Too bad I can't get in chat, but is anybody else still here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on. Even Chris stayed this time. Wow.
Woo! A real party.
Right on. Well, thanks, guys, for sticking around. And sorry I didn't get to the comments, guys. There's a lot of questions. I love that. Hopefully we'll have a bunch more next week as well. So we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.